What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the TCU Air Raid Playbook in College Football 25. This is the Sonny Dykes offense. You know, a couple years ago, they made it to the national title game. I didn't play well in that one, but they had a great season overall. But this is another, just a great Air Raid playbook. Sonny Dykes has been an Air Raid disciple for decades, and it has its own little spin to it. It's a lot of Air Raid basics, but very a little more RPO heavy, maybe not as much screen heavy. Just we're gonna go through every bit of that. It's pretty cool stuff in here. So we're gonna go over the formations and concepts and play types and personnel, and hopefully by the end of the video you'll have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. So again, this is the Air Raid offense, but just Sonny Dykes' version of it. One thing that's really neat is how he likes to use certain formations compared to some of the other Air Raid playbooks we've looked at. So let's start off with the formation groups. Of course, the bulk of this playbook is going to be shotgun. We're going to cover that last. We do have a few pistol formations. We got wing slot, that's a 12 personnel formation. Y-off trips, that's 11. And then we got a 4-wide look. And let's go in just to this first one, wing slot. It's typical. I call it under center. I know pistol's not under center, but it's still run, play action, and things of that nature. But Air Raid-ish. You know, there's Y stick out of the gate. You got an RPO. You got a jet sweep series, which is pretty nice. And you got some deeper stuff to go in with it. That dagger, that looks like shallow cross to me. Typical Air Raid stuff. You got a Y-off trips. You got to run. You got to play action. You got to roll out on top of that, which I actually think is a pretty neat little play. Let's go ahead and call that. It's a true rollout. If you can find somebody open, something like that, it's pretty good. You may want to play that one on the left hash, but just got a nice, neat little combo, especially if you like a little half-field read action. And that's what those rollouts are really good for. So you got that one in there. There's 18 plays in this formation compared to this one when they only had 9. So this is maybe where you want to start if you want to run any pistol whatsoever. You got a zone split, more play action. Notice it's kind of like another flood concept, stretch, nothing too crazy, but it just got your basic stuff that I think you'll enjoy. There's stick, typical Air Raid staple, and a double post. You even got a little option built in and more play action. So anytime you're going to have any pistol in your playbook, just think a lot of run, play action, things of that nature. Trips left open. This is one of the unique play or formations in the playbook. Not a lot of playbooks have it. And you got a stick, you got a RPO, an out and under. That's a Y sail technically in the Air Raid world. RPO bubble, another bubble. Basic run, mesh dig. I'm a big mesh guy. Of course, if you're going to run any Air Raid playbook, you got to have some mesh in there. You got a screen and a verticals and a draw. I think you should really implement, just my opinion, you got enough pistol here to where I think you should sprinkle it in at least a little bit to go on with your shotgun stuff. I know everybody wants to be in the shotgun, but there's enough diversity here between the personnel. You got a 12, 11, and a 10. And the fact you got plenty of Air Raid staples built in there with a little play action, I think you need to use some of it. We also got an I formation. It's eye tight. It's a 22 personnel look, and it's as you would expect, just run, play action on top of that. This is a nice little change up, third, fourth, and short, or if you just really want to throw the defense off guard, you can throw this at them. We even have a flea flicker. Now, you got to keep your expectations low with these. Hopefully, the blocking is good by the time he gets to throw it. You can kind of go over the top if possible. You only have 2 options. You got just a crosser and a go. And see if we can get this one off. Let's see. Oh, and I didn't hit the button well enough. Either way, it's just a unique play. Let's see if I can do this a little bit easier. I'm trying to hit the go route, and what's interesting is I keep getting hit every time I throw it. Either way, it's a flea flicker. It's a nice little trick play if you want to just kind of sprinkle that in. You keep on going, you got to play action, just more run, play action. That's just kind of all what you would expect here. But there's 15 plays. That's actually kind of a high number for what I expect out of this formation. For what you're kind of getting with it. So either way, sprinkle in some pistol and throw in a little I formation. No reason not to. So this is another reason why it makes this Air Raid playbook a little bit different than some of the other ones. But now let's talk about the shotgun. That's where the bulk of the playbook is at. Starting off with wing slot offset. Now, does this look familiar to you? It should. This is the gun version of this right here. I like playbooks that do this. Like if I'm a big fan of a certain look like this, I can give them the gun version as well. So this is a 12 personnel formation. Then you got normal Y off. Now we're heading straight into 11 personnel. 18 plays there. Follow number 9. He's your tight end. Then you got normal Y off weak. Then you got normal Y off close. Then you got wing trips. Wing trips weak. Then you got Y trips weak. And then spread Y slot, we're still in 11 personnel. So that's another thing you got to keep in mind. This is very 11 personnel heavy for it being an air raid playbook. Then we get the trips tight end offset. And then we hit our first 4 wide formation out of the gun, and that's spread. So notice how many different 11 personnel looks we had. Also notice where the halfback is located in a lot of these. He's right beside the quarterback. Wing slot offset, he's at the hip, but the bulk of these, especially these 11 personnel looks, look at him. He's right beside the quarterback. You can still run dive, inside zone, things of that nature from it, but I just kind of wanted to keep that in mind compared to some other playbooks that always have him at the hip, like you see right here. Then you got the spread. Then you got tight open, and that puts your tight end back out there by default. Then you got trips. Now we're going to another 4 wide look. You got 18 plays there and trips halfback weak. This is traditional air raid if you're thinking Mike Leach. Then you go over to empty tray. And this is probably another thing that maybe sets this playbook apart from other air raid playbooks. It's very empty oriented. This is just the first of them. Empty tray, you got 12 plays there. You got 5 wide receiver. You got empty bunch open. And you got bunch quads open. We've seen this formation a few times in some other playbooks. But either way, notice how many empty formations you have. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's a whole lot for an air raid playbook. So if you like to go empty with an air raid offense, this may be the playbook for you. I want to point out a couple of formations from the gun. First of all, gun empty tray. This is a rarity formation. Not a lot of playbooks have this. If I'm not mistaken, it's only this and Rice has this particular formation. So you see you got 12 plays, you got shock. That is a smash concept on the right with slants on the other. You got a QB draw. Red zone dusty. Anytime you see RZ, that means red zone. That's a Y corner. That's an air raid staple. You got stick. You got stick nod. I'm going to go ahead and select stick out of empty here. Let's go up against dime. So you got slants on one side and stick on the other. I like the numbers over here. This may get picked off. Just a good defensive play here. Let me read the safety. So it looks like they're going maybe cover 0. I may just go over the top to this go route and see if we can make a play. I'm going to do an aggressive catch. Nope, just really good defense. Either way, you're going to see plenty of stick in this playbook just because it's an air raid playbook. So you got that. You keep on going. You got scissors, more stick. Hey, what do you know? You got smash, slot drive, and slants. So I just wanted to point it out. This is just a rare formation. Only a couple playbooks have it. The other one I want to talk about is bunch open. It's empty bunch open. This right here. This is another formation not a lot of teams have. You got some unique stuff in here too. You got mesh cross, mesh spot. I'm going to go with mesh spot. Let's just pick something. Yeah, we'll go up against dime. So I like my mesh. Now it looks like they're going cover 0 of some sort. Let me see if I can hit this smash. Let's see. Nope. Good defensive there. Again, I'm doing this live, so forgive me if this doesn't look all that great. But otherwise, you got mesh over the middle. It's pretty simple stuff. I'm going to hit this crosser right there. Not bad. Pick up some easy yards. Really neat stuff, but that's just a unique way to do mesh, I think. That's just a unique combination of routes, just in my opinion, compared to what I've seen from some other playbooks. You got another QB draw, shallow cross. You got dagger and crossers and deep, and you got just more smash. You're going to see a ton of smash. I'll just tell you right now, plenty of it in this one. It's just got some unique combination of things. I would really practice this particular formation. Just a lot of oddball things in here. I think you will really enjoy it. And again, it's a rarity formation. Wing trips is another one, if I can find it. Let's see. Wing trips right here. This is another formation not a lot of playbooks have. You got some play action and RPO alert out that kind of looks like Y stick, but it's an RPO version of it. You got a nice little series right here with a slot motion. It's an alert out type look. You got a play action, a snag, and another play action on top of that. I'm gonna do this vertical one. Let's go up against like nickel random. So you see what we got here. Just a unique set of, this is all verticals to me. Let's see, nobody's open. I'm going to get sacked. Yeah, nobody, just perfect defense again. Again, I'm trying to do this live, and sometimes it's hard. Let me try this one more time. I think they're going cover 1. Let's see if I can go to my tight end. Can he make the catch? It's just a good play, again, by the defense. But again, just some really cool stuff. It's just another oddball formation. Not all the playbooks have it. And there's 18 plays here. As you can see, you got a nice little series right here with your tight end and a little pre-snap motion. You got split zone. a play action on top of that, and a read option with it as well. This is another one I'd really focus on if you want to go 11 personnel at all, just because, again, not many playbooks have it. The last one I want to talk about is just Y trips. Now, this is about as old school of an 11 personnel formation as there is in football in terms of the shotgun, but oddly enough, not a lot of playbooks have it. And it's got your basic things in here, nothing too crazy. It's got a sprint out smash. You got another smash on top of that. You got stick, you got an RPO, and another stick on top of that. You got a screen, a Y corner. Again, this is all air raid basic stuff right here. So I thought that was just a nice little combination of things. So you got about 5 formations that are really rare to this playbook. So I just wanted to point that out. On top of that, when you go in here, I always recommend just to go find those series of plays that's got pre-snap motion built in, like you see normal Y off. Look for those. Those are good little series plays to throw at a defense. Throw them a jet touch pass, and then maybe in the next drive, throw the play action on top of it, if that's your thing. Because notice right here, we got 6 plays alone in this formation that's got the same movement. I would throw that at the defense, and they wouldn't know what to expect, what's coming out of a lot of that. I think that's just really some cool stuff. So again, just kind of go through these formations, try to find those. Like here's another example. Look at all this. You got the halfback angle, a wheel, and a corner on top of that. Really cool stuff built into an air raid playbook. Who knew? So we've looked at the formations. I want to look at personnel. And as you would expect, the bulk of this is going to be 11 personnel, even for it being an air raid playbook. But as you see here, just a ton of 11 personnel, even from those empty formations. 23 personnel, that's your goal line. 32 is your QB kneel. 22 is that I form tight. 21 is your clock management. You do have a couple 12 personnel formations, wing slot, offset, then the pistol version right there. And then your 10 personnel. Thankfully, some of this is in here. If I'm going to run an air raid playbook, I got to have at least a little bit of 10 personnel, and you got plenty of it. You got spread, trips halfback weak, and trips left open. And notice the theme, 18 plays, 18, 18, 18. So that's what, 36, that's 72 plays of 4 wide if you need it, on top of all that 11 personnel stuff. So more than enough in terms of just, I like the versatility into personnel for an air raid playbook. And don't forget, we got a true 5 wide formation. So again, it's just, I like the versatility. It looks really good. Let's talk about concepts. Look at your play counts. You got over 50 basic runs, over 50 options, only 31 quicks. You got a ton of medium passes, about the same amount of the deep pass, but this is air raid. You're going to be throwing quite a bit. So just kind of keep a lot of that in mind as we go through these. Let's start off with the run. As expected, inside zone will be your base run concept. It's like that with pretty much any playbook in the game. You got a couple ISOs. You have 11 powers. To me, that's a lot for an air raid playbook. Let's go ahead and just run this one, see if we can make it look halfway decent. Basic power, pulling guard of some sort, and hopefully you can just try the best. Again, it just, this CPU defense and practice mode is just killing us. There's just nobody's blocking for us, but it is what it is. Either way, I think powers and counters work fine in this game as long as you get decent blocking, but unfortunately, we're not getting it in this video at least. But either way, you have enough of it in here that I would at least sprinkle it in if that's what you like, because you have 8 counters to go with it. If you're going to do some power, you might as well do some counter. I'm going to do random. Hopefully I can get something going here. Just nothing. I had nothing on the outside either. I can try it one more time. Let's see, anything? This may be a little bit better. Nah, not bad. We're going to pick up about 10 or 11 yards there. So every now and then you can get some decent runs, especially, and I have to remind myself I'm doing random formation, so they may be throwing cover 0 at me and a lot of blitzes and such. But you got 11 powers, 8 counters. Keep that in mind. You also have 10 draws. A lot of draws, as you should have plenty of draws, because this is an air raid playbook. You're going to pass a lot, therefore you need to do a lot of draws. You also got several QB draws. Notice here, 3 QB draws there. The rest of them will be your halfback draws. 2 outside zones, you got 3 sweeps, and you technically got 1 reverse at a gun wing trips week. So that's another trick play if you need it. But the bulk of this, you're going to be doing inside zone, and if you are comfortable with power and counter, mix that in. Otherwise, just do inside zone and draw. That's my opinion. But we got other runs that we can work with. Notice we have technically more option plays than we do basic runs. So this is a little bit more RPO heavy than some other air raid playbooks we've looked at. We got 2 inverted veers. You got 4 load / speed options. You got 10 read options. This is pretty typical about any playbook, honestly. Those are your 4 speeds. And here we got your RPOs. We got 9 reads. And notice a theme in some of these. You're going to see a lot of Y flats with these RPOs. This isn't my favorite RPO, I'm going to go up against something random here. So we got a bubble on one side and a flat on the other. I tend to struggle reading the tight end, honestly. Like, let's see if I can make this work. We may get a decent yardage here, maybe. I don't know. It's just not much there. We got about 4 yards. Not too bad. At this point, it looks like they're going cover 0. I could probably read the bubble. No, I think I just may run the ball, get up the field, get about 5 yards. Either way, you're going to have plenty of tight end RPO-based stuff in here, if that is your thing. So notice we got Y flat, Y flat. Those are tight end based. Look at here, another Y flat. And guess what? Another Y flat. Very Y flat heavy in terms of these reads. We got 8 peaks. We got bubbles. We got more peaks. We got alerts, different ways of doing it. We also got a little pre-snap motion with that read snag. I think we looked at that earlier. And we got another peak. We got a Y pop. Guess what? More tight end RPO stuff. So that's another thing that kind of makes this playbook a little bit different. It's very tight end heavy in terms of your RPOs. But guess what? We got 19 alerts. That's a lot. That's a bunch of these. Look at all these we got right here. So just, again, very RPO heavy. If that is your thing, especially if you want to mix this in with your air raid playbook, I think you're going to get a kick out of this. There's just plenty of it. So you may want to treat this as your base run game. If you want to. Otherwise, just stick with your inside zone and draws and such. Quick passes, we have 7 Ohios. If you like the go out combo, like this Ohio spacing, we'll just do something random here. Let's see. I think I may end up, I hit that button way too early. My bad. Let's try this again. Let's go over here. Let's start going 1 high. Anybody open? My tight end? Oh, nope, another drop. Again, forgive me, I'm doing this live. Sometimes it's hard to do it perfectly. Either way, you got a bunch of those Ohio plays. You got 1 Omaha. You got a couple scats. You got a bunch of slant, but notice what half of these are. You got a stick. You got stick and more stick and more stick. So slant and stick tend to go together. There's your 8 sticks right there. So slant and stick, you'll be going back and forth between a lot of those plays, along with a little Ohio if you need it. Medium pass, we got a bunch of these, and it's starting off out of the gate with smash. There's going to be plenty of high-low stuff in here for you to have fun with. Different variety. If you like basic smash, if you like the corner version with the corner flat, you got plenty of that in here as well. There it is, corner strike, or you want, again, your basic smash. You got to include this in your playbook. There's so much of it in here, it's not even funny. You got 10 choices, so pretty much any choice route play that has one, they're going to throw it in here. But even look, double stick. Again, it's just an air raid staple. You got shock and more shock. Shock is pretty much your smash with a fade route, more or less, if you like some of it. 18 curls. Any type of curl or a hitch, they're pretty much going to throw it here, but more or less it's going to be a curl route. Notice there's all curls and curl flats. So I like the curl stuff. It works pretty well in this game. Double moves, you got 7 of those. You got 8 drives. Drive is just a dig and a drag going in the same direction. That's the exact opposite of shallow cross. It's supposed to be the drag and the dig going in the opposite directions. You got 3 levels. You got 10 mesh. It wouldn't be an air raid playbook if you didn't have some mesh in there. You got 10 of those. You got 3 Salems. Those are shallow cross. It says we only got 2 of them, but I would mix that in with your drive and your mesh. Slot cross, you got 7 of these. So slot cross, think wide cross. That's air raid staple stuff. Got that slot just going to running a crossing route of some sort. You got 5 spots. That's actually a pretty normal number for an air raid playbook. Spot, it's kind of like, in a sense, Y corner. You got in 1 Texas route. You need to go over the deep pass. We got plenty of stuff in here. Look at here, 22 comeback plays. That's a lot. A lot of these are play action. Notice all these. PA, more PA. But you got a mesh built in. They call that a comeback play of some sort, I guess, because those mesh routes have the option to stick in the middle of if there's a zone. But either way, you got plenty of stuff in here. 5 daggers. You got a couple of divides. You got a double dig. A couple double posts. You got 11 flood. I would sprinkle some of this in here if I was you. Just same side reads. 18 verticals. This is typical stuff. Just pretty normal for air raid playbook and for any spread playbook, honestly. You got 7 meals. This is kind of old school fun and gun if you like that post with the dig on the same side. But notice they're built in. Look at 8 shallow cross. That's shallow cross, but meals on one end. You got a couple of Portlands. You got 10 shot plays. Some of them is play action, some of them not so much. You're still kind of going over the top just in various ways. I like this PA counter shot. The only downside to plays like that, you only have 2 options to throw to. And if they are not open, you better be running for your life. You got 8 switches if you want a little run and shoot. Not a ton of it in here. But notice drive, Y corner. Again, that's air raid. Mesh dig, that's air raid. Then you got some Y cross, some true Y cross. As you see right here, gun tight open right there. That's about as pure as a Y cross as you'll find. Play action, you're not going to find a ton of play action in air raid playbooks, except for this one. Yes, it doesn't show just 12 and 4 plays here, but as we know better, it's the play types is where we'll really find out how many play actions there are. Same with screens. It doesn't tell the full story. We've already looked at some of these RPOs for the bubbles. We got 4 flanker screens and 1 mid screen, but if you go over to play type, you go to pass and you go to play action, we got 47 true play action plays in this playbook. That is an absolute monstrous amount for an air raid playbook. So if you're going to use this playbook, you need to throw in some play action. There's so much of it in here. There's just no reason not to. And this is another oddball thing with this playbook. There's not a lot of screens. I'm actually surprised. Most air raid playbooks have a lot of screens built into them. If you combine these with your RPOs, I guess it comes out to a decent amount, but normally you got more traditional screens as opposed to these RPOs down here, but you got over 30 of them. So this may be your main RPO or your main screen game. It's up to you how you want to do it. You got a nice mix of both, but I was just shocked there's more RPO screens than there were traditional screens. Let's talk about our runs real quick. We've already mentioned a lot of these. We got 38 inside handoffs, 4 outsides, a couple pitches, your 8 counters, your 10 draws, a couple fullback runs, and 3 QB runs. But majority of this, it's going to be your draws and your inside handoffs. Then you go to your option. There's just not a lot. This isn't pure option at all. There's just not enough in here. You can use it if you want to, but you don't pick this playbook to run option. As you can tell, there's just not a lot of it in here. Then we just talked about those RPOs. So either way, I hope you enjoyed this. It's a unique air raid playbook. It's very empty base. It's got a lot of RPOs built into it and a lot of play action, but it still has all your main air raid staples, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.